what? It's Me Too Monday. That's right, folks. We are going to evaluate the effects that the Me Too movement, born originally in 2006 as an evolution of the Anita Hill Time's Up movement style, has really affected our culture as a whole. I would say, and this is a controversial opinion, I would say that this has solved effectively nothing. They have made it the theme of Oscars. You know what I mean? Was it 2018 or 17 that we had the theme of it being Time's Up? That was really interesting. It actually echoed a time, if you don't remember, if you're not a 90s baby, in 1993, the Oscars had a whole ceremony of which they were celebrating the Year of the Woman. 1992, that if you don't know, it was called the Year of the Woman. This echoes a time throughout our history where, weirdly, during certain decades, we have centered on the idea that women are flagrantly oppressed in certain regards. And you know what? I'm willing to give them credit that some people absolutely are horrifically misogynistic. And some institutions, even businesses, practice misogynistic things. I'm not saying who does it. I'm not saying whatever. You can read whatever rumors you want on Business Insider, all those sorts of things. In general, though, would you say that this has effectively had any major change on our society? I would say probably not. If you remember 1991, Anita Hill, she is I just saying that name, I'm sure brings up a lot of memories for a lot of people. But if you're not relatively aware, she was a law professor. She accused the Supreme Court nominee at the time, Clarence Thomas, that's another name that everybody's very aware of sexual harassment during his confirmation hearings. Her testimony, it was really, really detailed. It was about the unwanted sexually explicit conversations that he put her through during her time at the EEOC and the Department of Education. Despite all of her things coming in front of the Senate and testifying and whatnot, all of her words effectively meant nothing. No one in the Senate or even in the public, some people in the public found her to be trustworthy, but not enough to the point where it pressured the Senate to enact on the public sentiment. So eventually they said, fuck it, whatever, we're just going to confirm him. Doesn't that weirdly echo? And I don't know if you're just Gen X and maybe you're able to see the sort of history rhyming in many ways. It very much was kind of the prelude to Kavanaugh. If you don't know, in very many similar ways, Kavanaugh, it just so happened to occur right around the time history decided to rhyme. It was another age where women were getting accountability for the years of harassment that they've had to experience via the poor actors on the male side, which there are many. No one is denying that for a fact. Was Kavanaugh a dog in high school? I don't know. I didn't know him, quite frankly. His calendars came in clutch, though, to prove that, hey, guess what? He was like, no, I was a proper drinker. I hung out with my buddies. I didn't rape any women and whatnot. I just went to parties, one of which the party shows on the date of which this woman claimed that she was assaulted, that he could have potentially been there. But you know, people just forget things. The years can get away from you after a long time. What I'm trying to say is that, guys, what did we really get from Me Too or Time's Up? Weinstein was arrested and movies suck now. You watch the Oscar nominations, the list that they put out. Who the hell picks any of these? A24, I'm sorry, this is a controversial take. It used to mean that they would be a great film, and now it just means that they're giving a check to anybody to make an art piece about maybe a lady, she buys a pelican, they stare off at the sea for like an hour. The Whale sucked. I'm sorry, guys. I get it. Brendan Fraser, he's fat and gay in that movie. He's fat and gay in real life. And honestly, it was not a tour de force of acting. It was like, I could act that sadly and eat a pizza with a bunch of ranch all over it. I've seen people do that with that's Americans existing. I'm sorry. You look in most American households, it's Americans sitting in their kitchen finishing off a pizza on their own. That is unfortunately a vision of a lot of Americans. Kevin Spacey was the best thing about the television show House of Cards. And once they started relying on Claire Underwood, the show entirely died. I'm sorry, it's just a fact. Matt Lauer, I don't know about you guys, but I think he needed that button, because what if he didn't want to get up and close the door during his forced sexual encounter, right? You need an automatic button so that you just click and then the door closes. Louis C.K. was funny, and his TV show was fine. It was perfectly fine, but let's be honest here, he's maybe like the least bad loss here. He's kind of back, he's doing his own movies, whatever. Al Franken was a mid-tier Minnesota senator who had a funny Jew haircut. And you bastards, you ran him out of politics just because he played honk-honk with a sleeping woman's chest. Can we grow up, ladies and gentlemen? Let these guys back in. Our world hasn't changed for the better since we've ostracized the weirdos. In fact, it's only forced the non-artsy see normal people to come in and take their place, and they're blowing it. Folks, artists need to be perverted in many ways. It's just a fact. That's just what they do. They are the weirdos on the edge of society making Hollywood movies that blow everybody away, and then you like look into their personal lives, Roman Polanski, and then they flee to a different country, unfortunately, and yet they're the directors that we talk the best about. Maybe the one exception that you can think of is like Steven Spielberg, but the rest of your directors, I'm sorry. They're like, I do not know what George Lucas was hiding in his basement. I don't know. Nobody knows. And that's the point. Artists need to be those people who are living on the phrase of society. Some of them are people that have nothing more than a guitar case and their name and $45 million. Let Mick Jagger eat the cream cheese. He's earned it from a life of painting it black, ladies and gentlemen, and not his face. Not his face. He was not Amos and Andy, the world. Those skinny junkies from England, they painted the world black and dim and lame with their music. They were the anti-Beatles in many ways. They were sent to kind of pea soup up the reputation and legacy that the UK had been developing. You know, the musical excellence from one country cannot be maintained for a long time. So eventually they had to throw out kind of these access agents that were like, oh yeah, the UK's not that great. Look at them. They made the Rolling Stones, the traveling cavalcade of junkies that, you know, they into a mic, and that's about as decent as they do. We're gonna ask an AI actually. The Rolling Stones. Why were they influential? Google, tell me why. Why does everybody care? Because I've listened to some of their music, and it's fine. They're no Beatles. I'm sorry, they aren't. They just really aren't. The Rolling Stones are heavily influenced in rock music, culture, and fashion by pioneering a gritty, blues-based sound, establishing the bad boy rebel archetype, and revolutionizing stadium rock. As leaders of the 1960s British invasion, they blended the Chicago blues with rock, paving the way for hard rock, punk, and glam rock. Okay, whatever. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? The Stones, they shifted rock towards a raw, darker, and more blues-driven sound. It's fine. It's okay. They came over here, they got obsessed with people from Louisiana. It's like, you guys didn't steal their melanin. You didn't steal their talents. It's just a fact. They cultivated the rebellious, anti-establishment image and contrasted with the Beatles, popularizing a swagger. Dude, Mick Jagger had swagger, but do you know where he got that? On Epstein Island. That's where he got that swagger that everybody likes. He's got moves like Jagger. Do you know what that means? It means that you're good at driving the ceremonial dagger down into the infant. That's what it means to have moves like Jagger these days. At least, maybe that's not the Gen X term or the millennial term for it. That's the Gen Z term. It's like, I'm going to go Mick Jagger on this bitch. That means you're going to kill her and use her blood in a ceremony. That's what it means. Folks, I love having fun on Monday. I love having fun with Me Too. You know, listen, not that it's an unserious situation, not that it's whatever. I'm making the argument that collectively, as a society, unfortunately, we've lost a lot of the great actors in our art fields, and who has come to fill them? Who has come and meaningfully, who's putting out the art films nowadays? Ari Aster, he makes Eddington, he makes Beau is Afraid, he makes Midsommar, he makes all these movies that alienate so many different audiences. Half of the people hate it, at least, you know, people are like, oh, he's taking genuine swings, he's taking genuine... That's the only artistic director that you can point to. Robert Eggers is maybe making like decent period pieces and whatnot, but otherwise you cannot point to an individual studio like Miramax. You can't point to an individual studio that's making moves like the Weinsteins were. They were a remnant of the old Hollywood world where it's like, it's all about who you know, and that's do or die in that industry. He was one of the people that was like thanked more than God in Oscar speeches. Hollywood understood the power, the raw power that the Weinstein family had. And I feel like when we don't have these fixtures in our world, we don't have these constraint figures on us, I don't know. I feel as though the art suffers. And I feel as though people who are going to the movies lately understand exactly what I mean. They are like, yeah, I haven't seen a Good Will Hunting movie in like a long time. I haven't seen like a great movie. Like, I haven't gone to the theaters and just been like, wow, that was a great movie. I haven't done that in a minute. Weapons was bad. I'm sorry. Like, finally, can we say it? The director of Barbarian took like a major backstep with his commentary on witchcraft and gun control. Not really gun control. It had hints towards it, but it was so it was narratively confused. The witch herself was not that great of a villain. GLaDOS. I'm sorry. It's not a very good movie. If you haven't seen Weapons, I'm totally spoiling it for you. But it's just like mid tier. It's like okay. There's no movies out there that are making anybody go, yeah, that was a great movie. I'm sorry, whatever. I'm going off on a tangent because it's Monday. I can take whatever energy I want, folks. And